Now, you might think that hikers, cyclists, horse riders, even dog walkers would be united by a love of the great outdoors, but it seems that sometimes people need reminding to be friendly to each other when they're out and about. The South Downs National Park Authority has spent more than £11,000 on a new video to encourage people to be polite and considerate. But the video, which is effectively funded by us, the Department of Transport, has been branded utterly pointless and patronising by campaign groups.
Morning. Morning. Cheers. 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 Have a good day. Cheers. Cheers. Yeah, you see, that's all it takes. Cheers, Larry. All right. All right.
Got flat?
No. Oh. Well, have a good day anyway.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, do we really need to be reminded to say hello to each other? Let's talk to Alex Wild from the Taxpayers Alliance and the zoologist and broadcaster Sasha Norris. Alex, I'm guessing you're not a big fan of this.
Well, no, I think it's completely absurd. I mean, £11,000 on a video, and the total cost of this campaign is about £35,000, which might not sound like a huge amount of money given the state of the public finances, but it's 12 years of income tax contributions for someone. I mean, seriously, what is the need for this? I mean, the authority themselves have said that they have had no incidents reported in the 6 years since it's become a national park. So they're trying to solve a problem that frankly doesn't exist. I mean, if they're worried about maybe cyclists or ramblers getting into fights with each other, perhaps the money could be spent better in London. I mean, when you go to parks like this, people tend to be extremely polite and say, please, thank you, open the gates for each other and all that. I just think this is a non-existent problem, and it's just a total waste of money.
Okay, there you go, Sasha. 35 grand or thereabouts spent on a problem that doesn't exist.
Well, it might seem preposterous spending money like this, getting people to smile at each other. However, the benefits of going out into nature are enormous. And remember that the NHS is currently spending £5.1 billion a year on people that are overweight or obese, and £21 billion a year on social care and on NHS care for people with mental health problems. Now, there's a lot of research demonstrating that people feel happier in nature, they feel less depressed, and actually that it contributes, going out into nature contributes to people's well-being in many ways. And it may be that people actually feel that they're not sure of the response they'll get when they go out into natural places, into the countryside. Perhaps landowners won't be pleased to see them and so on. So actually, because human beings are a hugely social species and we are very interdependent, and it's possible that this slightly esoteric approach will encourage people to do something that's really important for their health.
Well, there you go, Alex. You need to take a wider view. And if that is the case, as Sasha points out, then actually it's going to, in effect, would save money.
I mean, how many people are not going to South Downs National Park because they're worried that they might be verbally abused by a gang of bird watchers? I mean, there are lots of reasons why people, might not go to a park. Maybe they're too far away from them. Maybe they're just not aware of them. This is preaching to people who already go to parks to tell them to be polite to each other when they are polite to each other, and there aren't any instances of bad behaviour and people getting into fights and stuff. I just think it's just a complete waste of money. And yeah, sure, it'd be great if we had more time in our hectic lifestyles to go to the park and stuff. But I'd really doubt that the reason people aren't going to these parks, in fact, they said about 40 million visitors a year. Obviously, a lot of that will be repeat visitors. But I really doubt that people aren't going to parks as much as they otherwise would because they're worried that someone might be really nasty to them. I mean, that's an argument for not walking around some city centres, not really national parks.
Yes, I mean, Sasha, let's be honest. I mean, I grew up in a national park. I mean, people are very nice, very friendly, do say hello. This isn't an issue.
I think that we have to think about different groups of people. So there's some people that are very confident about walking in nature. They do it all the time. They have all the gear and all the kit and so on. There are other groups that are much more difficult to motivate to get out into our countryside. And actually, our countryside can seem quite alien to people. It's much easier to walk in an urban park, but actually the well-being benefits are not seen anything like as strongly as when people get out into much more natural habitats. And those types of people are perhaps mothers, perhaps families that, didn't grow up in the countryside, live in urban areas, and actually keying into a smiling face or a happy greeting is actually the way that they will key into thinking, actually, maybe the countryside is for me.
Well, do you know what, Sasha? I think that's probably a really valid point, but it's not why this campaign was launched. It's not why this video was produced.
I don't work for the South Downs National Park. Obviously, my work is in promoting conservation education. Obviously, I'm hugely supportive of national parks. I don't know why they particularly, whether there was some research that showed that actually people were slightly alienated, or that perhaps people that weren't currently accessing the park would be more likely to if they felt that would happen. I don't know. I can't speak for the park.
Look, I know you don't like the money spent, Alex, and all of this. I know you say it's pointless, but if it makes life a little bit better for a comparatively small number of people, we've got to applaud it, haven't we?
I don't think so. I'd like to see the sort of cost-benefit analysis of this. I fear that one wasn't done. But it's £35,000. I mean, some of these companies who provide these services to public sector bodies like this, they must absolutely rub their hands with glee when they see them walking through the door and asking for some ridiculous campaign like this. I mean, if this is seriously the best way that they can spend £35,000, then they probably need to have their budget reduced.
Okay, firm words from Alex Wild. Sasha Norris, good to talk to you as well. Thank you very much indeed. Keep your thoughts coming through to me here on Twitter, @SkyStephen, for your views. April Walker says, there are too many rude and inconsiderate people these days, but I doubt reminders will change them. Well, let us know what you think on that one today.